Hello Internet. Okay, so I wanted to just quickly do a little tutorial on how to clean up an expansion. I would have put this in the last video, but that was already too long enough, and I figured people who already know how to do expansions and don't want to go through watching that video might want to know this as well. So, okay, what we're going to start off doing is, this step is optional. It's something that I just really thought of that I figured would actually make things a lot easier, especially if you have poor eyesight or don't like trying to tell if something is there or not. You're going to highlight all your layers above your background layer and drag them into the little folder to make them into a group. And you're going to set the blending mode, that's this up here, to normal, and open it up, and right above the top layer put you can do it multiple ways, I prefer to use a curves layer, and just bring the very top of the curve all the way down so it's a flat line at the bottom. And then go down, and right above your background layer you are going to add a solid color layer. So do this little circle, half gray, half black thing, hit solid color, and make sure you select white, and hit OK. So now what this is going to do is basically all the layers above this background are going to be black, and everything else is going to be white. So we're just going to go through and turn on and off each layer and be able to see where that layer is exactly, and by going in reverse order we're going to see all the lines that aren't covered up. So starting with our bottom layer, always make sure you highlight the layer mask if you're going to be doing any touching up. I can see right here there's a bit of white showing through, so I didn't get that quite covered up. It doesn't make much of a difference, but it's nice for me to know that it's all fixed. And if you just turn the layers off and off using this little eye, you can see things that are popping up and be able to tell which is part of which layer. There's nothing on this one, but I can see later that I'm going to have to fix up, whoops, push to go away. Fix up this, and I can already see parts like right here where another layer is in there. So just go through, turn off layers, you can see right here that we have this creeping in there that we don't want. Because no matter how well you do these, there's always little bits of line somewhere that you missed. No matter how careful you are, and how slowly you go through it, there's always something that you miss. That's what I found, and I'm kind of scared to go back through some of my older work before I figured out how to do this, because I'm sure there's lines all over the place. Turn that off. I'm guessing this, yep. You have to go click on here. I'm just going to actually get part of it, and then in the next layer fill it in so that blends a bit better. That off, up here. You can see just very subtly there's some parts of the edge right here that I didn't get. It's all a whole bunch of little stuff that it would be really hard to notice unless you did end up printing your images really large, or zooming in really close, or have someone who's just trying to find a mistake in your work. So really, that was, I don't know what went on there. Alright, that's where I did the grass. That's really bad. There's nothing worse than spending a bunch of money to get a giant nice print, and then only then figuring out that there's a little line running through your work that you didn't quite get last time, and then having to pay more money to get it reprinted, or just living with a very unprofessional print. I mean, yeah. And I do have to admit, sometimes doing this can drive you crazy because you think there's something there, but you can't tell for sure because it's just very slightly there. And those I usually just figure they're not there enough for me to actually worry about it. Okay, and then once you get done, just go through. You can unclick the little curves thing if you want. Go through and turn everything back on. Turn that off, and there you go. An expansion that looks exactly how it did before, except now we know for sure that there's no little lines anywhere and nothing's going wrong. Alright, the end.